is not available. You know, I'll tell you something, man. I should have called this episode "Rains It Pours." You know, it's like you I got that saying. Well, you know, when it rains, it pours. Took that from which Star Trek was that? I know who said it. I'm trying to remember what episode it was. Star Trek from one of the movies. And McCoy said it to Kirk. I think it was in Star Trek 2. Because when it rains, it pours, he goes. I think it was on Kirk's birthday after the Enterprise docked. Or at three, the Enterprise docked. And they were in Kirk's house or whatever, you know, they could see San Francisco, you know, the bay, remember? And he goes, beware of Klingons buried in gifts, you know. And he gave him a pair of glasses. Remember he said, when it rains, it pours or something. I don't know who said that. I got to remember exactly what the reason why, you know, I forgot. The important point is that that's why I called this episode. Oh, I should have called this episode when it rains, it pours sometimes. Um, no, it doesn't always, of course. Um, you know, my ex girlfriend, I can say ex because she told me she has somebody else, and that's fine. That's okay. I don't talk to her anymore anyway. She wasn't my type sexually anyway. But anyway, and she's just too much of a tightwad with what money she has. So she doesn't know how to live while they're alive. You know, I hate that. I hate those kind of people that in Yiddish become ungestufft. You know, they're stuffed, overstuffed with money, and they don't know how to fucking live. Like, she'd rather live in a was living in a church for a while. This woman owns you know multiple. I told her, I said, why don't we go live in Malibu? You know, sell one of your houses, go get a nice beach house or something. But it's just not in her thing. She's too big miser, you know. Like my friend, I told you about my friend Chris that lives, you know, he lives in like Section 8 kind of deal. But there's this guy that owns these buildings, Jerry, lives in, and this guy claims he owns all these buildings. And the guy shows up for work every day, like, you know, guys, he's multi deca millionaire at least. And it's like, why is that guy? What the fuck is wrong with that guy? He's like a workaholic. Like, I guess he's trying to become a billionaire or something like that. It's like, you know, imagine, let's say you own like three. It's like you're collecting pennies, really, compared to like what you have. It's like inconsequential money, really. It's nothing. Now I've seen the sickness many times. I'll give you two examples of the sickness. And I think I mentioned this early on, a long time ago. Um, let me see. I have my tea, so it's gonna I'll get warm if I, you know. Hang tough, my, my friends, my my learners, my students, my student. I'm not like Jordan Peterson, you know, by any means, but you know, I think I make some really interesting, valid points, you know, in life about people's intentions, the way that they think, the way that they go through life, and you got to realize something. You know, I think a lot of people don't realize this. You got a limited time while you're here, man. You know, and that limited time, you could really do some incredible things as far as you know people, as far as like you know achieving things. And most people they don't. They just slave away at their linear robotic mechanical lifestyle, their little schlep rock job, just eking by, just trying to make a little money. And I'm gonna get back to those people in a second, but you know this is all it's fucking brainwashing is what it is. Like you know when you're a kid, you see your parents, you know they got to go to work and everything, so then you become like that. You know, you know it's like brainwashing. They don't want to build a better life, so my kid doesn't have to do what I well. if you don't used to hound me, so after I finish this episode, you'll see, like, boy, no responsibilities. Okay, like, go ahead and try to achieve all things and think you don't have any response. That's the dumbest fucking thing anybody can say. Anybody that's striving for something, or multiple things has a load on their plate, of things to do. Chai spice with a special ingredient. No responsibilities. I mean, this is a dumb thing, because she's, just absorbed, and it's not worth even talking about her anymore, because there's no relationship there. It's just kind of weird. I really thought, she kind of chose me, and I thought that's the way it works. And I guess she's kind of like a quote unquote run around suit. I wouldn't. She was saying that I wasn't, and we had our thing. We had a little bit of fun early on, and I just don't like pressure. Really, I didn't, I think she was just a little too much with the sex. Like I didn't like that. So I didn't really use it against her. I just didn't want to like do what she's commanding. And I just, like I said, she's just too big of a miser for me. I can't be with somebody that has money, doesn't know how to live. Like, maybe when she gets old, she'll realize, she's gonna be 50. So a woman's kind of like at that age, they become one of these what I call poor millionaires. They live like in a million property, but they don't, they count pennies. And that's what the point that I was making earlier, the gelling. There was this guy that there's this guy named Marvin that just recently passed away. Anyway, across the street, older guy that owned this apartment building, and it's like 12 units or something like that. Nice, right? West Hollywood. Let's just say that. And he sold it. And I saw him out there. I asked him. I said, "What?" There was like an abandoned house. They finally. And I kept walking by the house for a couple of years, and I tried to look it up. Who owns it? It was like in a trust or something. And I even called the West County assessor's office just to try to figure out, who owns it. And, it's a fucking gold mine. It was a huge house in, like I talked about West Hollywood, it's an affluent area. Um, the developer came in, I guess, and bought that house and bought that old guy's apartment building. And I guess he said, what he told me, he said, I got an offer I could not refuse. Be fucking nice. I said eight. I just tried to throw a number out, eight, 8 million. He goes, not that much. You know, fuck, man. I mean, so I tried to like pump him for information. I said, how did you get started? He goes, well, I was in the 80s. I was relatively young. He's like 70, maybe 70 something years old. He goes, in the 80s, I was like, in my 30s, and I didn't want to work for anybody else. The traditional, yeah, of course, fucking, I think like that too, but I'm broke, like I think that way also. And he's like, I don't want to work for you. So, and I said, was it the first property you bought? He goes, no, I bought a house up in the hills. So look, man, this is guys that were relatively young to buy properties back in the late 70s and the 80s and stuff like that. They had their shit together like back 40 years ago. Okay. So there you go. Like it's just, so when he's getting up there, so he gave me the generic. And I asked him, like, nice, I said, any advice you give me to get started? He goes, not around here, man. There's no deals. And he's right. That's how, developers come in with big money like that. You can't challenge that shit. You ain't going to make a fine. Now, maybe 4 or 5 blocks away, closer to where I live, there was like what I call the Sanford and Son house. Sanford and Son is a reference to that show from the late early 80s, late 70s. Red Fox, you big dummy. They call the kid the dummy. Um, it was like a garbage. Like it was like in Watts or something. It was a garbage shack that was they sold there's a junk shop or whatever like that. It was just very very rare to see something so dilapidated in an affluent West Hollywood area, especially that street. I don't like throwing, I don't like, telling the address. It doesn't matter. Just the point is the point. And there were these two old sisters. I guess they lived there, and I talked with one, and they were like, it's funny because they went to the same high school that I went to, but they were older than me. They're in their mid 60s. No teeth, it's like, just like the old kind of women that have fallen apart. And here they're sitting on fucking this land, that's worth a couple million. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I couldn't say that. Like, what the fuck is so? The first time I met, like, and they're like fixtures, they grew up here. It's all they know. It's their whole life and everything. So they're like, they can't leave, it doesn't matter, but like millions. So even two, more than one, 2 million, it's a big difference between 1 and 2 million, a big difference. So anyway, they had like an estate sale. Finally, like I guess they sold, they finally sold the property. And I tried to ask them, how much you get for this? And they kind of wouldn't tell me, but I found out from an older guy that knows them well better. They got 2.4 million. Um, and so my point out of all of, okay, I know I'm trying to impart the miserly mentality. So these older women, they're selling these tchotchkes or something. You just sold a fucking property for 2.4 million, and you're selling this garbage out here for $5. Get away, like, just. And I found there were like these junky watches and some belt buckles. Like they were like, oh, it's like $10. And I said, can you do five? And they said, yeah, okay. So they weren't being complete hazards. But 3%, it don't matter. It don't matter. $5, $10. You're talking like somebody. It's like recycling can money. It's garbage money. It's garbage money. So you still get 60% of 1.2. That's still like 600,000 plus another 120, 720 grand in your pocket, each of you. Maybe more, probably 750,000, and you're counting fucking $5. Now that retail, that older guy that sold the building for, probably got 6 million. I saw him. He was selling part like a refrigerator to some young college kids, and I saw he put in his pocket like $100 bill or something like that. What a fucking, I mean, it's a sickness. It's a sickness. You can give it to them, just like, dude, you're sitting there doing hard labor, like making, what the fuck, man? Sickness is what those people have. They don't know how to live. I mean, and I remember my ex-girlfriend said something. That's the reason I have money, is because I'm a miser like that. I go, no, it's not. You're a fucking miser. It's a sickness. The reason you have money, some big all deals where you bought a condo for 150,000, you sold it for 375. You bought a house for 650, you sold it for 850. You bought a house for 1.3 and you sold it for 1.9. That's how you made your money. You didn't make it by recycling tea bags or selling $5 tchotchkes. But you see, these people, they have a sickness. They don't know how to live while they're alive. Those two old ladies, they could have sold that years ago. Got good money, could have lived it up, but sat there in that Sanford and Son and rotted away. They look like, I don't know how old they are, but they look, they're awful. Look, you got to preserve your health. Number one, the first most important thing, and here's the misnomer. Everybody puts wealth in front of health. They always do that until it's too late, like until they have to go to the doctor, they're falling apart, and the doctor doesn't say, well, what's wrong with you? How come you didn't take care of yourself? And like, well, I have to make money. I got a friend, Ziva, like his dad was smart. His dad passed away. I remember I was at his funeral. Like, dad died relatively young of cancer. I don't know how, but maybe God, like, became very smart. In the 90s, they used to live in a small apartment in West Hollywood, also not too far from me. And they said, why rent when you could buy a condo like in the valleys? And that's what he did. He bought a condo for 100 mid 90s, 94, 90, whatever, 95, for like 100,000. Instead of spending six, seven, 800 in rent. And so it appreciated. The dad died, and the mom, he lives there still to this day with his mom and him and his mom, and the condo's worth like, you know, 700,000, somewhere in that range. So, dad was smart, like he worked and, he died, and that's at least he was thinking ahead. Um, but the kid, he can be, can't control his emotions sometimes. He'll call me up and ask me for my advice, and then he'll call me like an a-hole, like before he hangs up. So I remember that. Like you belittle somebody, you talk down to somebody. I have a good memory when somebody puts me down. I don't forget that. I demand to get treated with respect, or else I will not communicate with you. I shouldn't have to. And this leads into the topic of all the shit that went down. In life, I don't know it word for word, but I understand. I know what he was implying. It's how you deal, like when the shit hits the fan. That's the real test of a character. When you're being challenged, and it's really hard because I got reactive today. It's everything all at once, but I just wanted. I'll backtrack. So I went to the gym today in the morning, and I also went at night. Slept during the day. It's just that's my clock, the way my system's running right now. So gym closes 11 p.m. and you know I'm going to be 48 years old, and next month, people like they're half age that work there, the front desk, and I don't give a fuck. I don't need them for anything. And I remember I went in yesterday, I asked them if they have a fucking gym. You should have. Members pay to work out there, and I guess the county ordinance in Los Angeles, you have to wear a mask. Is it that much to ask that the fucking gym, has a couple boxes in them put away for emergencies? People that show up and thing breaks or whatever like that. What the fuck is wrong with them? They have enough money that they put up these dumb, Halloween is coming up, and they put all around the gym. They put up stupid. This is stupid. Like it's like a national holiday to the gays. Like it's the dumbest thing. It's for kids. They shouldn't even have it. And my gym is not even on Santa Monica Boulevard. I just don't get it. It's a very hard thing, when you live in West Hollywood, but you're not of West Hollywood. You're now again. How do I say this? I don't really have any. I don't gay people that are relevant to me. Like good for them. They got their own. I don't care about their thing. Equality. But it's just a nonsense thing that a gym is not a playground. Pansies, that work out in most gyms. They're not hardcore. They're not there to make progress. They're not there. And I am a very serious, focused, bodybuilder. I know I don't look huge. I'm not a giant guy, but you don't, listen, man. I was attempting to push 400 pounds on a sled. Um, I weigh like about close to 175. I work my ass off, and I mean, there's a guy standing. We have like a strip. I'm pushing like 300 pounds on the sled. And there's a dude toward the end of the strip. He's just standing there with his back turned toward me on his phone. And here's my sled coming. You're lucky I'm not on a fucking, military base or something. Because I think I'd run you over. And I stopped and I said, dude, I said it, and I might moved out of the way, but fuck is wrong with you? People working, there's not much space in there. And that's the problem with this. Gym is not designed for more than a certain capacity amount of people. And a lot of these clowns, machine, an hour at that, I'm not exaggerating, on his phone, sitting on that machine, like they're there to pass time. I made a joke. I said, I wonder if they're all just talking to each other, in the gym. They're all texting each other. I don't know what the fuck is. It's a gay cornucopia of people. There are some people they push pretty hard. They're there to work out. And there's an older guy. He does work for the city, and I do. I relate with him. He's straight, apparently married. The first time I seen him in the gym in a long time, and I asked him, "Is everything?" And he seemed kind of standoffish to tell me on. So I immediately changed the conversation. I said, "Hey, man, it's just back. I relate with him. He stopped drinking just like me. He's got more time than me. And it seems like he says some very profound things like don't step in anybody's bubble gum. Just like think about that. Don't allow yourself to um, into it with people that it's look. It's just these are kind of times. They're combination. Nobody walking around wearing masks. And it's very uncomfortable. I listened to like NPR today in the morning, hearing these little kids talk about these elementary school kids what it's like wearing a mask. I was like I couldn't. It was so bothersome to me. It's awful. So what happened in the gym at night when I went in? Now again, from listening to me how focused I am and how serious I am. And gym closed 11 o'clock. And this guy gets on the loudspeaker every 10 minutes, 15 minutes toward 10 o'clock. Gym closes an hour. 10:30, gym closes a half or whatever. And it's like toward the end, that I after my I got there at like 9:50, 45 or whatever. So 10, then 10, we're going. We're doing shoulders and traps, whatever. So at the very end, very very end, toward the last couple minutes, last 5-10 minutes, I can hit those handstand push do. It's really good because you could pump an upper body. And whatever nerve issues I had, they're gone now. So I adapted to that. So if I feel fine, I'm going. I'm pushing. So like in between the handstand push-ups, I took like dumbbells. I wanted to use like 17 and a half pound. They have these smaller dumbbells that I'll do like wrist rolls. I'll show you in a second. Um, I'll take like I'll take the dumbbells, go like this in a motion. It's not super fast. I don't want to hit. Just like you're working your forearms. You're working both your forearms, and I'll do that in between. There's no like some exercises your body will recover fairly quickly. So I like to say in motion, and harder exercises I will take a breather, so squats, back heavy, stuff that's hard. I'll take the breather, to catch my breath, like and get my heart rate down a little bit. In the next set, it's a serious thing. But light easier stuff, not to say those handstand push, and I'll crank out as many as I can do. 10, I try 15. Sometimes I lose my balance. If I lose my balance early enough and I have enough strength, I just jump right up, pretty determined and pretty serious. So it's getting close. The guy gets on there and he goes, he announces the gym is now closed. Now I look up at the clock, it's 10:58. So I know this guy's going to come up there. I've seen this before. There's a woman, they come up there and they after they announce it on the loudspeaker, then they come up and tell you have to go, kind of thing. Now, I've seen sometimes you get a couple minutes after. I don't, if I'm talking with there's a guy that I haven't seen, this Israeli guy, Tom. I haven't seen him in a couple months there. I hope he's okay. He's doing business. it's funny because like you work out when you got nothing to do, but when the money starts coming in, you're like, nah, who gives a shit? Like it's like John Cena. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to fucking be as big as he used to. He doesn't have to do that shit. He's smart. He's using his mind. He's doing movies, making real money. He don't give a fuck about big. And he told me that personally. I'll never forget. He told me. He told me. I forget. We talked a couple times. He goes, "Big ain't nothing." He said, "Big ain't nothing." He was 100% right. He didn't give a shit. He goes, "I was." He goes, I was 300 pounds and ripped." He goes, "The big ain't nothing." He's right. The big ain't nothing. It's it's. He's right. Okay, that's all I can say. I don't question John Cena when John Cena talks. If you're lucky enough to even get in his presence, I saw him at the Saddle Ranch one time, and it was maybe 5, 6 years ago. And I said, you're famous now. And he goes, "I'm still the same guy." He goes, "I'm still the same guy." He told me like that. So it was really cool. I said, "Thanks." Um, okay, so let's not finish. Okay, so what happens about the guy? So and I knew it. I had a premonition that this guy is going to come up the stairs. Now I'm looking at the thing, 10:59. So finish the push-up set. I know I got a minute left, and so I take the 20 tumbles and I'm rolling them. And now there's somebody else, this older guy that I don't know if he's got mental problems or something. He's this older guy, this little, and he every time I go to the gym, he's there. Early in the morning or late at night, and he's singing around, and I don't allow him to get up to bother me. He really doesn't know what he's doing thing, and he's up. I don't care. But this he went. The guy came upstairs. He went to the far side of the gym just to try to finish up. And so the employee comes to me and he goes, "The gym fucking clock." And I said, "Do you see the time on there?" It was 10:59. It was not. It was, and it was early. It was 10:59 in like 6 seconds. See, I'm well aware of it. It's big, right? So he goes, "Oh, that clock's off by 2 minutes," and I go, "That's not my problem." And he says, "I don't go till that thing says 11 o'clock." And he goes, and so the guy goes, "Well, I'm going to call security." And I said, "You could 3 million times." And so the guy's wasting up in there before I have to. He stopped me from that, and it's like then he finally walks off and he's saying something as he's walking away, and then I'm saying something, and really fucking this man put into this shit a lot of years now. Any employee, anybody that's worth their salt, in my opinion, anybody that works in that works at a gym or is a personal trainer or is around the gym element, number one, and I'll get to the thing about his case against, but there's this thing called respect, and what I mean by respect is that they don't need to treat you like you're 5 years old, getting on the thing saying the gym's closed in 10 minutes, the gym's closing in 5 minutes. I can see the time. I know when the gym is closed. I've been going to the gym for thousands and thousands of visits. Okay, and I was probably working out before this person was even born. And so in my mind, it's like I'm thinking like rank, military. You are nothing. You're a cadet. And they're gonna fucking tell me like clock. I said I go by the clock, not by what you say. Like I held my mouth and I know it's like it's really hard. And then what about the other people that are in there? They're still working their out. He's wasting his time engaging me when there's other people. And it's like it just bothers me because like I like to stand up for myself and with these ass clowns that are employed by the gym. Go figure. Like they just could not afford. You have the right to talk shit when you've earned the right. And I remember I was stretching one time when a trainer, some of these bone namers, impede me like when I'm just doing my exercises, and told him straight up, "Dude, this is why I got a master's degree in physical education. You got a fucking certificate." And so, I mean, I can talk shit because I earned it. I earned the right. Now, you know how hard it was for me to get my Master of Science degree in phys ed? It took me almost 3 years. So in my mind, it's like I didn't do it so I could talk shit. But in my mind, like it should be like, there should be like a ranking system, like, a thing where, hey, dude, you're beneath me. Like you're not allowed to try to challenge me because you're not at my level. And unfortunately they push this equality thing where everybody's equal, not equal. You're not equal. Okay, it's like because you are not equal, you're not invited. That's how society should function. I mean, it's like, and then when I put down the fucking do not enter, like you're not allowed to engage me, then all of a sudden they fucking, huff and puff and blow and get mad and try to give me their, I'll call security on you. Hey, I said, fix the clock. And that's it, period. And what a fucking minute. Now it's hard because the way the guy came at me, in my mind, well, what should he have done? Number one, there should be respect off here. I'm not on a phone. I'm not fucking around like these fucking fags and these fucking cream puffs. I'm real sorry. I'm real sorry to say that, but it just gets me agitated beyond to no end. Um, it's just that's what you see. You open it up and you piss people off. They get mad. Like that. It's what there should. You're yesterday. Someone at the desk came upstairs. It was about the same thing. It was about 10:58. Same fucking thing. I had a couple fucking. I was on this leg machine, powering out the last couple reps before I go. The gym's closed. I just didn't want to engage her because the fucking. I go by that clock. Well, that clock's 2 minutes off. Well, that's not my problem. Okay, I go by that clock. Call security. Call fucking whatever. Cancel my membership. Do me a favor. Because that environment's a fucking pussy, fucking cream puff place anyway. Like the only reason I go there is because I can get in there. It's convenient. I can work my ass off. I mean, I have something to show for the work. I mean, I have to admit they have equipment. I mean, to build a body. So, I don't give a fuck people that get in my way, that are cream puffs or whatever like that. I don't give a fuck about them because wherever I go, it's gonna take me longer to get to where I need to go. And in my mind, um, that longer it just makes because you got to go all the way there, all the way back. Like it kind of takes away from your gains. The idea is to get to a place conveniently, work your ass off, and then get the fuck out of there so you get the recovery in, so you can go back at it again. Like you want to be close to your temple, like where you're going to war, where you're working. And it's very hard to do that because that place is not a fucking these people they're just you know they impede that. They give you that respect of somebody that's really going hard, and that agitates me because you know you should get respect for time served. In my mind, like in my mind, if I was somebody who worked at a gym, I would give and say, dude, this guy comes in here, he works his ass off. Um, Let him finish his couple reps, man. Like, or it was what's his fucking point? I made a good point about that clock. So we're arguing over less than a minute. We're arguing. There's other fucking people that don't even care. They're not even on their way out. I was trying to put so I can leave, and this guy's wasting more of my time and his time over something so stupid. I heard you. Like I said that, but the way he came at me and going after somebody else, the other people, hasn't he started the bar? They get everybody behind him. He goes to the first person, like it's just ridiculous. I guarantee you, I would only, like it's just a fucking noob, noob mentality. So okay, so that covers that issue. Everything hits you at once. Now I know the gym is arbitrary; it's not that big of a deal, but a lot of things all at once. I get a call from my manager, it's like, well, where's your, you got an inspection in 2 weeks, and then you got to have your application, your yearly renewal thing in, and it's like, okay, then that comes in. So I told you I'm considering moving to Las Vegas, so I haven't filled out that form yet. More than likely, I'll, go through the crap with, you know, uh, renewing the lease and all this shit. But, it's just being. But what am I just gonna do? Throw out 90% of my shit and just go try to get a small place and it's in a decent area? I live in like a very affluent area. I live in a good. You go out there, you could be making a catastrophic error. Like then somebody. This one guy told me, goes, Warrior Junior, you leave the area here, you're gonna be priced out. You ain't gonna be able to come back. And it sucks because I'm on all these waiting lists for better housing, for more, and nothing's coming through. Nothing. I keep thinking about, well, you only get one life. You're closing in on 50 years old. You don't want to be one of these fucking broke, poor. I mean, people are like Goylem. I mean, they're just not. They never did anything for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. If you live in a place and there's all goylem around you and there's nobody ever made nothing, nobody ever became nothing, then more than likely you are the same. You're just, you know, um, and then I mean, so that's another issue with the housing. Cool thing, I got a little bit of a luck today because you know, talking about I needed 5 classes to get to the capstone. Other um, course transferred in. It finally was approved today. Took like a couple weeks, so it was approved. So it knocks it down to those classes. Well, they're 8 weeks, but it's just the amount of work. So I like to ask them about that, but it doesn't matter. So you have to wait till January to finish those last 2 classes to get to. A lot of people don't understand. Become a doctor. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't give a fuck. Doctor of whatever. Um, it's hard earned. It's hard earned. I've got a lot of respect for people that earn that doctor title. I don't give a fuck what it is. Doctor of chiropractic, doctor of strategic. It's still doctor. It's still it's respect. It's respect. So I'm trying to earn that. At this rate, you're looking at if I pass those two, and then it depends when I can pass 2 classes, and then a year probably to get through the entire capstone. A year and a quarter, let's just say about that. It shouldn't take much longer than that. That year and a half, quarter. I thought it would take 2 years, but a lot less, hopefully. Um, that's on a good thing. But then I get a fucking thing from my bank today saying I got no money in there because of I had crypto. There were 3 charges on my account. I was like 200, and again, see my. So I talk about it. So all this shit happening at once. So now I got no money. I can't access my Coinbase account. Because I was like, whatever. I was having password issues. I was like, who cares? It's like $200 of Shiba Inu in there. Who gives a fuck? Just leave it in there. But then I get a fucking overdraft from my bank saying there's some, you know, um, there's some transactions going on. I didn't authorize any transactions. I mean, so what's my account been compromised? So Coinbase, they seem like they're reaching out, like they're trying to figure out what's going on. Even tonight, I emailed. So my point out of all of this is to just, hey, that's how I react now. I didn't authorize those transactions, so I want to fix now. You know, got a couple credit cards. So I use those for groceries and whatever. Like I used to freak out when shit would happen like this. I don't anymore because I know I didn't make those transactions. So that I won't have to now. I know it's like $100 in overdraft fee. I know it's like all at once, everything. I can do it. I can make it a lot worse. So I owe the school another $1,200. They're going to be on me. They're going to try to take that out of my credit card in the end of next week. Look, it's just handle everything. I don't care. like it's not a big deal. Like all of this shit is like nothing. So when my ex-girlfriend goes, "You've got no responsibilities," she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. People don't know your life, until they walk in your shoes. And sometimes I think to myself, well, is it all with a small apartment in Vegas? Cool. I don't have to fucking, try to get that done. I don't have to, I love bodybuilding. I'd love to keep working out because it gives me something very positive to focus on, and I love to see the progress. I love to see the gains. Um, so, and I'd love to get away from this kind of element of fagula, cream puffness that, I don't, I think it's just weak. I think it doesn't, I mean, so not, listen, I have to, I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. Some of these dudes are very, very smart financially, I'm sure. But that doesn't help me because they're not helping me in business. They're not helping me looking at my script. They're not, once somebody did reach out to me, ironically, some woman, I think, like her husband died. She did reach out to me after midnight about my script, by writing. She goes, "Oh, are you still like," and I just told her I never made it. Like I exhausted everything. I did everything I believe I could. Nobody would even listen to me. I'm not expecting Stallone or Jennifer Lopez or somebody to give me a pitch meeting, but you know, I'm just done with the pipe dreams, man. You know, it's just a fucking pipe dream is what you're doing in this area. You go up to Sunset. You would think there'll be tons of people out, having fun because they're sick of COVID. But it's a different generation now. I talk with this older security guy. He's got to be older than me, and he goes, "They got this shit now, dude. They got this shit. They don't go out dancing. They don't go out like they used to do the things. It's different, man. Remember, like in downtown, I got a card from like, that they play like top 40s. Older for older people, like not older. You know what I mean? It seems like just seems like I'm alive out there. You're gonna get tired of it. You're gonna get tired. You know what? I don't know what else. Maybe if I could, you know, somehow partner with somebody at a gym. Like gonna be some putz schlep rock because that's what happened to my friend Pete. I told you a story. He was a lackey. He thought he was a partner of Shalom, the creator of Earth Cafe, but he wasn't. He was just his like number one. He worked his ass off. He got paid, but he didn't own any percentage of the business. And the business grew and grew and grew and grew. They opened another store, another store, another store. It became corporate, and people got boxed out. It's ridiculous. Just I said if he got like 5% of Sean, 5% of that company, my friend Pete would be a multimillionaire. He fucked my friend over. We grew up together. We used to play Dungeons and Dragons together. That's how far we go back, all of us. He's older than me. Shalom's older than me, but Pete is my age, and his brother is my age. His brother's cool. Like I grew up with. He was one of my best friends. With me, like it's talk sometimes on Facebook. He's engaged, he's got his life. He works for like Caltrans, he's Hazards, like the greedy Jew bastards. I'm sorry, I know it makes me sound like, but I'm Jewish, so I can talk shit. I'm allowed to. But that's what he is. He's umgestoppt. He's fucking. I can't believe like there's people out there. They have no rachmunis and Yiddish, that sympathy. Like, oh, how could you partner with somebody and then not kick down? He told me like he ran into him somewhere, and Shalom started crying, like saying, "Oh, we're gonna do what we did together. We started this together, dude. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to him. Didn't do nothing together. You should have gave him a percentage of the fucking business. You didn't give him to him. You did nothing. You just used him. It's like my friend Chris. That's a flyer. He's a, well, I call him flyer guy. He goes, my boss. Yeah, he's a lackey. He's a lackey. He just ever the boss tells him to do for a couple dollars. Nothing. You're not a partner. You don't own any the take of the door, like of a nightclub, or you're not a partner. You are a slave. You're a prop. And a lot of these guys either they don't know it, they do know it, and are willing to take it up the ass. What I mean by that is, get whipped around, whatever, and just I can't, like I'm too old, like I listen. I worked for a photo place, and I worked washing dishes when I was young, because I didn't know any better. But I'm gonna be 48 years old. Are shit that could really lead somewhere or doing. Otherwise, no. I rather have fucking nothing. I get my little check every month, government EBT, whatever like that. I don't give a fuck. So, I can survive. I don't have any, no kids, no pets, no wife, no car. So I don't need, like I live a very, all my money goes to myself, goes to good nutrition. I'm trying to think, what else do I buy? I used to buy collectibles and stuff, but I still have some decent cards, graded cards, and some memorabilia, sell for some money. I see how hard it is to flip one product. So it basically, I just sell it for 500. Well, the eBay takes 10%, so your 500 goes down to 450, and then minus, it's okay. So I got to put up 300 and to make 150, and it's not that easy. It's like, it could be stuff might not move, so you're tying up $300 buying something, you're holding on to it, and hopefully you can sell it. It's not like, oh, you're making transactions so easily every day. Every day you're making money. It doesn't flip. It doesn't compound. It doesn't. I mean, I tried drop shipping on eBay. I was making $2 here, and then sometimes, I think it's other people too. So a lot of shit, it just doesn't fucking pay. It just doesn't fucking pay. So I said, why am I doing this? It doesn't fucking pay. You know, that's why I stopped all of that. And I said, you know what? I could just go to school. I had to pay out of pocket, which was a lot for me to do. But once, I make up these two classes, then I can get money again. So like at least, if you're inclined to, and you just pocket, the refund money. So you can go to school indefinitely. Now it's not life changing money here we're talking about, but you know what? It does give you opportunity to learn some. Let's look at it educationally. You could pick something that you kind of like, and again, look, I took something I could handle. I got a master's in. It was supposed to be sports administration, but for some reason they put phys ed on the degree. I didn't care. My friends were telling me, oh, they should have put sports admin on there. I said, hey, whatever. I know a lot about physical education, so it's kind of cute. At least it says it on the degree. Master of Science, Warrior Junior, sports. Physical education is cool. Like it was a big accomplishment when I got that. When I got all my degrees, I was proud of them. And I'll tell you something. I paid out of pocket for some, when I got close to some of them, because I thought it would really be a game changer. Like I applied for all these jobs, I got a master's degree, and nobody hired me. Nobody, nobody. Ronnie Coleman when he goes, nobody, and something too. I listen to a lot of Jim Rome, Inspiration, all these guys, Les Brown, all these fucking guys. And here's what I learned: listening to all these people, that's cute. Any moron can listen. Anybody can watch. Anybody can listen. I could listen to garbage hip hop music if I want. I could listen. What does that do? It does nothing. You have to. The key is implementation, and then you have to take action. So without listening, there's no magic secret. There's nothing. It's the implement and the taking action that could lead somewhere. And it might lead nowhere. might lead fucking nowhere. Let me tell you something. Of myself a little over a very long period of time. I don't hide this. I made some catastrophic errors. Um, I talked about, my years of being like a card player. I thought I was gonna be a professional card player, so that was catastrophic, financially for me. I didn't lose with this and that. The shit can add up. And like I said, if you're not going forward, you're going backwards because nothing remains static. So, I guess before you can go ahead, you have to like climb out of the hole to be on, before you can go up, the sky is the limit. You got to get out of the hole first. And, you know, because of gambling or drinking or whatever. But I remember one guy in one of my meetings, he's like close to my age. He was probably a year younger than me. We were about the same. And he said, so, he hit me really hard with this one. He was like leading the meeting and he goes, I never thought I'd be 46 and have nothing to show for it. I kind of like when he said that, I was like, damn, it was like a fucking train hitting me. Like, wow, he was spot on with that. What I told him at the end after the meeting, I went up to him and I said, but this shit can change quickly, real fucking quickly. And I shit you not, maybe 3, 4. Like he has like an advanced degree. I know. I think he also had specialist education, or whatever. No, he had a master's of education degree. So he was already employed. He was already going in the right. Like 3, 4 months later, and I think maybe a year ago or something, he was like, I think out of debt or something, working like so don't yeah. And it was like that. What he said was very temporary. It was real temporary. 6 months after that, he was on his way. On his way in the right direction. So, but it takes time. It doesn't. What's 6 months? Well, it's still 6 months, a half a year. You know, I know it goes, but it's 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 a climb. I mean, let me tell you something. I've been trying to get this doctor degree. Shit, I started when I was 44. I picked up my specialist at 46. I'm gonna be 48 this month, and and right now 4 classes out from it. It's going. I mean, you're going, but it takes time. And I told you, I got dismissed from one university. I mean, dude, my bumpy road to earn my degrees were not easy. Um, I went to a lot of schools and it didn't pan out. I went to Cal State Northridge. I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills, Cal State, Long Beach State. They wouldn't let me in because of the financial, where I had to basically start off as a sophomore, where I had basically senior standing at these Cal States, Cal State LA. I remember, I tried everywhere. I mean, I really put in years and years and years. It took me 6 years since after I got my associate's degree to finally knock out my program, find a program I could handle. But once, like National University, once I hit the ground with after the first class, that was a challenge. The first class fucked me. I was on probation because I was new to online learning, and I was very combative and skeptical about it. But after that first month, I hung in there, and then a year and a quarter later, Bachelor of Arts degree in general studies. So, general studies. Hey, I was just happy to get something. Bachelor degree to me was bachelor degree. I got it at 41 years old. Um, I didn't go to graduation because I was like, yeah, it was like in San Diego or something, and I don't have any family, and it wasn't. I think at 41, it wasn't. I was saying my dues. I fucking got my master's degree in phys ed, and then I on the whole fucking way. I got my educational specialist degree, and then right now working on doctor education and educational leadership. So, where it could lead, I don't know. And it's like I just want to fucking achieve that. And I'm one of those guys that when I go for something, I'm gonna stop unless I got something better going on, and I don't. Um, unless unless I get some great better opportunity, I'm just gonna be a student. I don't know what else to fucking do. I keep try to ask for opportunities. I try to reach out to do something, but nobody. It's like, I get, like it's like I don't, you don't need you. You don't need you for anything. So the only if you're not needed, then what do? You can just try to do the best you can. Like keep investing in yourself. Why do you think I go to the gym so much? Because it gives me something to focus on. That's positive. So that's all I can say. I mean, I see these homeless people out there, and I was coming home from the gym. I was waiting at the corner, and there was this like black, disheveled, homeless looking guy, and this woman had a beautiful husky, and this guy like he positioned himself like he was like dangerously close, and I almost said like, "Here, what are you doing?" Like, I just didn't want to start up, but there, I'm sorry, but we're not all equal. We're not equal. You have to understand something. There is a thing called social hierarchy, and these people got their fucking heads that everybody should be treated equally. But let me tell you something, man. It doesn't work that way. It's all status, and it's all where you are on that status totem pole. Like where you come out like a disheveled, dangerous person, you're gonna get treated like that. You're gonna get you should get pushed out just for the the betterment for the safety of the residents. Like why the fuck are you there? What the fuck are you doing there? You're hoping that somebody gives you something, and guess giving it doesn't work that way. You don't. You shouldn't give anything. You're because then what you're basically promoting it. You're saying, oh, this is okay. This kind of person should be able to hang around here. Got no business being there. No fucking business hanging places that you don't belong. If you don't live there, you don't know anybody, you're not invited, or you have no business, you shouldn't be allowed to be there. I'm sorry, for the safety and the welfare of people that live in the area or own businesses, they need to like really put down some serious fucking rules to push out the element of low lifeness that doesn't belong. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just how I think. I mean, that's how it is. It's like in Bel Air, they got the private security, the ADT or whatever. They got a private security patrol goes around that area 24/7 for a reason, because those homes, those people live there are fucking upper echelon people. They don't want anybody, people. They got nothing to live for. They're trying, they know there's some people up there with money, and stuff. They want to try to do something or hurt somebody. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're obsessed fans, or they got nothing to live for. They look. My intention was, and I know. Look, I know it's not the right thing to do, but I was trying to reach out to powerful people in Hollywood through unorthodox means to pitch my script ideas and my talents, like what I have to offer. And I thought, like, can you imagine what if I had like the Rocky of like like a movie like Rocky, and it's just not the way to go about it now. Not in the 21st century. Um, back in the 70s or something like that, they didn't have email, or it was just phone. It was word of mouth. So now you got the technology. They're like, well, what are you trying to do, dude? Capacity and that desire, to be able to walk up a fucking mountain to put my resume in somebody's mailbox, would just show, oh man, this guy is determined. I got to. It doesn't their own family. They really don't about producing a great product. They don't. They go for the guarantees. They're going for shit that's presented to them because they're powerful, that or they got agents that get them work that's guaranteed money, and they look down on me like just like I look down on that street creep. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. It's the same thing. It's like I look down on those people, um, and it's really hard to fathom, in my mind, because it's like they say that the poor people talk about money, the rich people talk about, and the wealthy people talk about ideas. So I'm talking about ideas. Like I'm bringing something that's like a beautiful, like even though I'm poor, I think I bring like beautiful ideas like to develop. And these wealthy, they just go like this. They go, dude, fucking flee, man, whatever, get out of here. Um, we got a million of you guys trying to pitch us yearly that has any power. I've met some powerful people, but it's a very brief thing, and they're very well protected for. Um, they already made it. They already made their money. They're not going to give back. They don't care. Um, would you? To say, but would you? I mean, you're only here for a certain period of time. It's really fucked up that, but you know, put in everything. So it's like I was willing to do it for years and years. I was willing to do it all. If somebody else is not willing to grind it out for years and years, then you know why? They're looking for the fast and easy, and there is no fast and easy for me. There isn't. Um, sure, there's people I think they made it fast. Good for them, but I just don't know it. I don't know. I've looked for anything that was my calling, to try to make it. I have not been able to pin it down. Pin down a fucking something that you know it's like my calling. I just don't know. You know. So until something opens up, like I might as well just keep grinding with the school thing. That's the only fucking thing that I see. And then the lifting, that's like I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to fucking do. So, just think about, fucking anything else. I mean, anyway, I know I'm rambling at this point. I'm going on. Covered a lot of interesting things, relevant relative to all at once. Everything. I can hang out. They throw. Seen was a Bugs Bunny thing where they throw tomatoes and he takes it all. Like he makes like a fucking hat out of it. Or the housing thing. I'll get through. Don't make an emotional decision. Strategic decision is a big difference. If it takes 2 years, it could take 5 years, it could take 10 fucking years, man. But that's what that security guy did. He saved up 10,000 a year for 10 fucking years. He had 100,000 cash to buy the condo. No, 10 years. It sounds like a fucking long ass time, and 10,000. But you know what? That condo's worth 800. Because my grandparents didn't do that. They could have. That was the move. So I think like the affluent. Even though I I used to think like my grandparents because they raised me. Gambler, dude, raised from the beginning. From the beginning. Second I turned 18, I was betting the racetrack, going there by myself. 21 all the way to fucking 40. Jesus. 20 something years, 25 years there. And then I said, oh, fuck this. I can't make this. So let me design. I designed a Pai Gow poker system. So I got that. And then once I fucking finally gave that up, sporadic, and that was 4, 5, almost doing, whatever, 3, 4 years ago with the huge, all of it, fairly recently though. And that's the problem. It takes time. The problem is I dug myself into a fucking hole like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it's anyway, but real fucking fast. 6 months from now, hopefully, I can, at least I could afford to get back on the ball with school, and they'll give me money. in January to keep the ball rolling. So, believe me, you can get on track, man. If you've been there, you have failed business. Guess what? You got the fucking knowledge, man. I'm telling you, you staying down for a little, get back up. You will. There's something there. I'm telling you. Just don't choose a restaurant business, excuse me, if that's all you know, get out of the traditional thinking because it doesn't work. It's going to be 2022 already. You got to move ahead. You got to think ahead like Jeff Bezos did. It took a moving fast. And if you don't know, turn off the fucking TV and sit there quietly and think. Shit will come into your mind. That's the good mind. That's the way it works. Anyway, that's all I got to say for right now. I'm got to get to schoolwork in, and keep plugging away, man. Keep plugging away. Keep plugging fucking away. Stallone said, keep punching. Keep fucking punching. You got to hit something eventually. You got to. You throw enough darts, eventually you'll hit something. You've got to. You've got to. There's just no way. You